18 million people died in a devastating World War I, then more than 60 million people died in a Second World War II, and a few years later, 23 million people died in 138 wars between 1945 and 1989. 3. And the loss of human lives is still increasing. Although those numbers were enough to teach the living dozens of lessons. Wars seem to be heading for more escalation and more human harvesting. Here we can ask if there is hope on the horizon, which we can aspire to in the face of this never-ending killing machine? Tunisian writer and researcher Dr. al-Zain bin Shaika al-Maskini, who specializes in the philosophy of beauty, believes in her book, Art is Out of Its Reach, that we may have been able to count on art as a field of hope and hope. The artwork should not necessarily be aimed at making the recipient happy. Art is not merely a superficial look of idiots or silly fun. Artistic work, be it artistic, poetic or lyrical, etc., can be, as far as Derrida's words, a tremendous telescope of a terrible event, as horrible as if more than 100 million people die in the wars of the century 20. This is precisely what led the American painter Max Ginsburg, born in 1931, to focus on the idea of wars and social grievances in his paintings, in an attempt to explore the tragedies of the human soul on a daily basis. Ginsburg places both humanism and inhumanity at the center of great attention in his art, focusing all of his paintings on humans as fragments scattered in the modern city world. Changing the world of the city and the scourge of wars, Ginsburg places the viewer's eyes on the broken, marginalized and poor. A follower of Ginsburg sees that the paintings never deviate from realism, and the painter seems to prefer belonging to painful realism as an alternative to magic realism, rather than scenes of joy and happiness, even if they are real, focuses on pain, sadness, fragility and refraction as they are more expressions of modern man. Max is the son of American portrait painter Abraham Ginsburg, who worked in the film industry from 1925 to 1929. His father focused on teaching him painting and supporting him to grow with his talent, and Max studied music and arts at the secondary level and then moved to Syracuse University to study plastic art. In his entirety, Max Ginsburg highlights issues of racial discrimination, normal daily street life, social class differences, the fate of American wars around the world, manifestations of acute poverty in urban areas and in the life of the working middle class, all in a realistic manner that is not without a sense of pity on the inhuman condition of these persons. 5. In his portrait of The Pity of War 6, in 2007, Ginsburg provides a close-up picture of a woman embracing a man who is already dying or dying. In the painting, we do not understand who the woman is or the relationship she has with the man. All that the painter focuses on is the cry of the woman who suffers the sorrow of separation. In the painting, Ginsburg presented a near scene similar to the Virgin that includes her son, as evidenced by the headscarf she wears. Also, the man is dying or he may be dead without his clothes like Christ, in a sign from the painter, because all people of different faiths and times are crucified, but in different ways. On another plate, Ginsburg presents a scene of torture of a detainee at the Abu Ghraib prison in Iraq by U.S. soldiers in one of his most horrific and painful paintings. The painting, entitled Torture in Abu Ghraib, in 2007, she bore a face similar to Christ on the cross. In the painting, we see the very realistic depiction of a detainee's torture at the hands of the American forces, but Ginsburg depicted the victim in the same position as Christ crucified on an iron bar, his hands spilled, and the blood flowing around him with the same visual rhythm.